welcome to this special Boxing Day edition. And today we have lots to talk about. We will get the message from Queen, of course, and the Brexit deal and what else is happening. And as we know, that the cricket's taking place in Melbourne, and I'll try and see if I can connect with someone there. If we can, we will bring that to you as well. Well, right now, as we know, this is the Boxing Day, and of course everyone's rushing off to get the Boxing Day sales, but the message is that please be very careful on this day as well. Right now, let's get onto the news with the headlines for this morning with the courtesy of ABC.
The top stories on Weekend Breakfast. The list of COVID exposure sites across Sydney is expanding as New South Wales enters its last day of relaxed coronavirus restrictions for Christmas. New venues in the CBD, Crow's Nest, Auburn, Burwood, Glebe, several bus routes and a Rex flight from Sydney to Griffith have all been reported as potential exposure sites.
Australian retailers are hoping the Boxing Day sales will bring as much needed financial boost after a tough year. Most retailers in Australia were first to close at some point this year due to the coronavirus lockdowns. Despite this, the Australian Retailers Association says shoppers are expected to spend $19.5 billion over the period.
An explosion has rocked the busy downtown area of Nashville in the US state of Tennessee. Authorities believe it was deliberate. Police say a parked car was involved in the blast. 3 people have been taken to hospital for treatment, but none are in a critical condition.
And Pope Francis has urged world leaders to share the coronavirus vaccines in his Christmas address. He's also called for generosity and support for victims of the pandemic, saying walls of nationalism cannot be built to stop a pandemic that knows no borders. The pontiff delivered his message from inside St. Peter's Basilica instead of the central balcony of the Vatican before tens of thousands of faithful.
And once again, welcome to this very special edition of Weekend Special on Boxing Day 2020. And as I have said before, that the timing for today is we've started at 9:45 Brisbane time and finishing off at about 10:15 today, because from 10:30 we will be joining the Samarpan meditation as we have been doing for the last few days. Also wonderful segments there, you know, don't miss. If you have the chance, please do log on, and it is wonderful, and you'll get some insights into the ancient technology of meditation, and all at the comfort of your own lounge room, wherever you are. Well, right now, as I said, this is Christmas and Boxing Day today, but this is the message from our Queen yesterday.
Every year we herald the coming of Christmas by turning on the lights. And light does more than create a festive mood. Light brings hope. For Christians, Jesus is the light of the world, but we can't celebrate his birth today in quite the usual way. People of all faiths have been unable to gather as they would wish for their festivals, such as Passover, Easter, Eid, and Vaisakhi. But we need life to go on. Remarkably, a year that has necessarily kept people apart has in many ways brought us closer. Across the Commonwealth, my family and I have been inspired by stories of people volunteering in their communities, helping those in need. In the United Kingdom and around the world, people have risen magnificently to the challenges of the year, and I'm so proud and moved by this quiet, indomitable spirit. To our young people in particular, I say thank you for the part you have played. We continue to be inspired by the kindness of strangers and draw comfort that even on the darkest nights, there is hope in the new dawn. Jesus touched on this with the parable of the Good Samaritan. The man who is robbed and left at the roadside is saved by someone who did not share his religion or culture. This wonderful story of kindness is still as relevant today. Good Samaritans have emerged across society, showing care and respect for all, regardless of gender, race, and background, reminding us that each one of us is special and equal in the eyes of God. Of course, for many, this time of year will be tinged with sadness, some mourning the loss of those dear to them, and others missing friends and family members distanced for safety, when all they'd really want for Christmas is a simple hug or a squeeze of the hand. If you are among them, you are not alone, and let me assure you of my thoughts and prayers. The Bible tells how a star appeared in the sky, its light guiding the shepherds and wise men to the scene of Jesus' birth. Let the light of Christmas, the spirit of selflessness, love, and above all hope, guide us in the times ahead. It is in that spirit that I wish you a very happy Christmas.
And Queen looking as fresh as ever, and a wonderful message there. And if you had missed our program yesterday, we did a very special program on Christmas, and we were blessed to have, three of our presenters here. First was Pastor John Thomas, then we had Sister Savita Singh, and then of course Pastor John Thomas. Let's hear a little bit of what they had to say yesterday. First up, Pastor Joseph Das.
Move forward. और फिर हम देखते हैं happiness is not by chance, it's by choice. अगर आप खुशी मनाना चाहता है, Christmas is a time of joy, it's your choice. तूफानों के बीच में, मुसीबतों के बीच में, if you want to be happy, nobody can stop you. Be happy. और आखिरी चीज में हम कहना चाहता हैं, take responsibility of your own happiness. क्रिसमस का समय खुशी का समय है. Don't put your happiness in the hands of other people. दूसरे लोगों के हाथ में हम अपना खुशी रखेंगे तो एक दिन हम खुशी रहेंगे, दूसरे दिन हम दुख मनाएंगे, लाचार होंगे कि ओ ब्रदर ने हमको कॉल नहीं किया, उसने हमको बात नहीं किया, एक महीने क्या हुआ, and I get upset and I get worried. प्यारे लोग, मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, आपका खुशी का जिम्मेवार आप है. क्रिसमस के समय खुशी का समय है. नॉट ओनली ऑन द डे ऑफ क्रिसमस. ब्रदर ने कहा, भाई ने कहा कि बड़ा दिन हम लोग मनाते थे, बहुत से खाने को मिलता था, ब्रेड, जैम, बटर और गोश्त वगैरह, मीट एंड ऑल दैट. फिजी में हम जब थे, और ये सब तमाम खुशी. और उसके बाद में नो मोर ब्रेड, नो मोर मीट, खत्म हो गया, एक महीने खाने को नहीं मिला. लेकिन मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि केवल बड़ा दिन हमारा खुशी की नहीं है, और जब दूसरे दिन बॉक्सिंग डे है और फिर नया साल है, एवरी डे कैन बी अ डे ऑफ जॉय. इन द मिड्स ऑफ क्राइसिस वी आर सो रिजिलिएंट. वी आप बहुत ताकतवर लोग हैं. यू कैन राइज अप फ्रॉम योर एशेस एज नाउ दिस इज द डे द लॉर्ड हैज मेड. आई एम गोइंग टू रिजॉइस एंड बी ग्लैड. मैं खुशी मनाऊंगा, चाहे कितना भी मुसीबतें तकलीफ सभी के जिंदगी में आती हैं, बट इट्स योर लाइफ एंड योर लाइफ, योर बेस्ट लाइफ इज राइट नाउ. ये क्रिसमस का मैसेज मैं आपको देना चाहता हूँ. धन्यवाद आपको सुनने के लिए. धन्यवाद मिस्टर उमेश जी, आपके जितने कर्मचारी, सब के लिए. हमारा क्रिसमस का मैसेज यही है कि आप लोग खुशी रहें, आप लोग सुखी रहें, आप लोग ब्लेस्ड रहें. थोड़ी देर में हम आपके लिए प्रार्थना करेंगे, प्रे करेंगे और जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे प्रोग्राम में.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Pastor Joseph Das, of course, being of the Hindi background. All the programs were in bilingual. Well, right now, next up, yesterday, this is all glimpses of whole program of yesterday's. You can go back if you've missed and watch. And the second up was Sister Savita Singh with her message.
Has been killed because they thought this was the king, the future king. So friends, the story goes on forever, and if you want, you can continue reading on the Bible. In the message itself, it will tell you what it is all about. But it is very powerful that how the angel has come and declared that God was going to be born to this day, to this womb, and she is going to be called the Blessed Mother Mary. And Catholics are all respecting her, and they do go to church and they worship him, worship God. So friends, it is very beautiful to know the three things, that how the visitation happened, how the shepherds were being alerted, how the wise men came, and also how we are celebrating today the birth of Jesus Christ. तो यीशु मसीह के ओर से आज सबको मैं शुभकामनाएं लेकर आई हूँ फिर से, और धन्यवाद के साथ कहती हूँ कि आपने आज सुना, मेरे साथ दिया। ऑस्ट्रेलियन इंडियन रेडियो ऑनलाइन भाई उमेश और उषा के ये बिजनेस के लिए भी धन्यवाद देती हूँ, और मेरे साथ ये बेटी मेरी साथ है दिलराज, उसके लिए भी मैं प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि उसका भी जो भी मांग है पूरा होए। और गॉड इज़ गुड एंड He is always very present help in time of need. Thank you and God bless you.
Amen. And very nicely said there by Sabita Singh. She's very humble and she always presents the shows on Australian Indian Radio and has been doing that for a long, long time. And next up is Pastor John Thomas and with his message.
छोड़ देंगे, एक नया जीवन आप अपनाएंगे, आपको यीशु मसीह शांति देगा। बाइबल में लिखा हुआ है लूका रचित सुसमाचार उसके 2 अध्याय में, चरवाहे रात को बैठकर अपने भेड़ों की रखवाली कर रहे थे। अचानक एक स्वर्गदूत उनके बीच में आके खड़ा हुआ और उनसे कहा, डरो मत, मैं तुम्हें एक खुशी का सुसमाचार सुनाने आया हूं। आज तुम्हारे लिए बैतलहम में इस दाऊद के नगर में एक उद्धारकर्ता जन्मा है, वो है यीशु मसीह। आज कई लोग डर के जीवन व्यतीत कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस स्वर्गदूत ने उन चरवाहों से कहा डरो मत, आज मैं आप लोगों से ये वचन शेयर करना चाहता हूं, डरो मत। आज आपके लिए एक उद्धारकर्ता जन्मा है, वो आपको शांति देगा, वह आपको आशीष देगा। और मैं यह शुभ संदेश आप तक इस रेडियो के द्वारा पहुंचा रहा हूं। 2020 यद्यपि कोविड के कारण एक अंधकार समय बीत गया, लेकिन यदि हम 2021 में प्रवेश करेंगे, यह अंधकार हमारे जीवन से चला जाए और एक नई रोशनी हमारे जीवनों में आए, हमारे व्यक्ति जीवन में आए, हमारे परिवार में आए, हमारे समाज में आए, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आए, पूरे संसार में आए। यही मेरी प्रार्थना है। हर एक व्यक्ति को यीशु मसीह आशीष दे, यह मेरा शुभ संदेश है। विश यू अ वेरी हैप्पी क्रिसमस एंड ब्लेसड न्यू ईयर। मे गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल with this message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, Pastor John Thomas, and of course, Ishtara is a lovely singer, and she sang for us right here in the studios, and we tried to accompany her on some of the instruments here. So here's that song.
आओ सभी मिलकर प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए, आओ सभी प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए, ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए, ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए। आओ सभी मिलकर प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए, आओ सभी मिलकर प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए। सारे लोग हो, सारे साज हो, सब छोटे बड़े हम आवाज हो। सारे लोग हो, सारे साज हो, सब छोटे बड़े हम आवाज हो। धरती गगन नाच उठे ऐसा धुन सुनाए, धरती गगन नाच उठे ऐसा धुन सुनाए। ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए, ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए। आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए, आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए। यीशु की तरफ सबके हाथ हो, यीशु की तरफ सबके हाथ हो। स्वर्ग दूत भी अपने साथ हो, स्वर्ग दूत भी अपने साथ हो। बादशाह की हमद सना होके मगन गाए, बादशाह की हमद सना होके मगन गाए। ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए, ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए। आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए, आओ सभी के प्रिय यीशु के गुण जाए। सब मिट जाएगा जो भी आज है यीशु के लिए सारा राज है सब मिट जाएगा जो भी आज है यीशु के लिए सारा राज है महाराजा के लिए हम अपना मन सजाए महाराजा के लिए हम अपना मन सजाए ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए ऐसा गीत गाए सारे झूम जाए आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए आओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए ओ सभी मिलके प्रिय यीशु के गुण गाए
So that was glimpses of yesterday's full program, which was about a 2 hours program, and it is on Facebook. If you would like to go and have a look at that, you are quite welcome to do so.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the show. As we know today, this segment will finish at about 10:15, and from 10:30 we will be joining in with Samarpan meditation and, of course, all the big news from there. Well, right now, moving on with the news, we've had the headline and Queen's message. Right now, let's hear from British Prime Minister and, of course, big talks on Brexit there as well.
We've detected 2 cases of another new variant of coronavirus here in the UK. Both are contacts of cases who have travelled from South Africa over the past few weeks. This new variant is highly concerning because it is yet more transmissible and it appears to have mutated further than the new variant that's been discovered in the UK. We've taken the following action. First, we are quarantining cases and close contacts of cases found here in the UK. Second, we're placing immediate restrictions on travel from South Africa. And finally, and most importantly, anyone in the UK who has been in South Africa in the past fortnight, and anyone who is a close contact of someone who's been in South Africa in the last fortnight, must quarantine immediately.
So that's the new message, and of course they found the variant of the coronavirus, which is again a bit concerning. But we'll have to have a close look on what's happening and how it's progressing, so that it doesn't spread much. But when people have thought that the vaccine is almost out and that the vaccine now needs to be distributed and make sure that everyone gets it. Now we found a variant of the COVID-19 outbreak. So, of course, we'll be keeping an eye and update on that. Here's that Brexit deal that I was talking about.
One last all-nighter by Brexit negotiators in Brussels, and a last-minute Christmas present is all wrapped up.
I'm very pleased to tell you this afternoon that we have completed the biggest trade deal yet, worth £660 billion a year, a comprehensive Canada-style free trade deal between the UK and the EU.
We've got our country back!
It's been more than 4 years since Britain chose to leave Europe, a seismic political rift that felled prime ministers
to serve the country I love
and changed the country forever. Now it's out on its own.
To our friends in the United Kingdom, I want to say, parting is such sweet sorrow.
Boris Johnson claimed the $1.2 trillion tariff-free deal delivered everything the British public was promised.
We've taken back control of our laws and our destiny. We've taken back control of every jot and tittle of our regulation in a way that is complete and unfettered.
A disastrous no-deal scenario was only days away, and millions will be relieved a deal of any kind was finally struck.
We've got certainty now. We know we've got tariff-free access to Europe. The tariffs for our business at White Farms would have amounted to over £4 million per year.
But the UK has yielded significant ground, giving European fishermen licence to plunder its waters for another 5 years and allowing Europe to impose tariffs if the UK undercuts it on labour or environmental standards.
The EU rules and standards will be respected. We have effective tools to react if fair competition is distorted and impacts our trade.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the deal was good and fair, but now firmly cuts the UK from a major centre of power.
And no deal in the world can change reality or gravity in today's economy and today's world. We are one of the giants.
So has Downing Street seized the prize or let it out of its grasp? There is spin galore in this last-minute Christmas Eve announcement, and with thousands of pages of legal text yet to be made public, rest assured this is not the last we'll hear in this Brexit story. Linton Besser.
And of course, that is not the last that we will. We all know about that, and there'll be lots to be seen. Did you see those long queues waiting at Dover to cross over to France? I pity those truck drivers, parked for miles and miles, and they would have spent, some of them would have spent, their nights in the trucks without having to, being allowed to cross. So that was a rather sad case there. Well, right now, message from our Prime Minister.
If there's one overwhelming feeling we have this Christmas, I think it's one of thankfulness, a sense of gratitude. This year has not been easy for any of us. Some of us have faced the loss of loved ones, others the loss of jobs and their livelihoods, separation from family, isolation during lockdowns and lost gatherings with those we love. For all of us, this year has been a time of stress and a lot of uncertainty. Yet through it all, once again, we have rallied to each other, together. Australians are an amazing people with an amazing spirit, and this year the Australian spirit has shone brightly again. Though we had to be distant socially, emotionally, we connected and turned to each other. There were the firefighters and volunteers who got us through the Black Summer, the doctors and nurses, the researchers and scientists doing their utmost to protect and care for us throughout this pandemic. Retail workers kept the supply chains open. Volunteers made sure that no one was left behind or left without. Public servants out there providing support to people all over the country. Everyone playing their part. And even now, up in Sydney, on the northern beaches, everyone is still there doing their bit to keep all of us safe right across the country. So no matter where you are in Australia, this Christmas, I think, is one where, as Australians, we can once again count our blessings as a country. And in our very Australian way, resolve once again to share those blessings with others, wherever we can. So we give thanks this year for our Christmas, because our blessings outweigh our struggles. It is the tradition of these messages to give a shout out to a group at Christmas who have done so much. So I do want to thank and honour all our older Australians in aged care and their carers. They have really endured a lot this year. With visits limited and the loss of hugs and kisses and visits from the company of family. It's been terribly hard. This year we saw you draw on that well of strength that you have displayed over your entire lifetime. And in doing so, you kept others safe. For all of us, those who are Christian and those who are not, this Christmas is again a time of great hope. And my prayer for Australia this Christmas comes from the great verse, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we shall reap a harvest, if we do not give up." So stay safe, stay COVID safe. May God bless you and your family this Christmas. Merry Christmas, Australia.
And a very nice message there. And of course, as he mentioned, that whether you are Christian or not, but of course we know that Christmas these days is a widely celebrated event, and everyone takes part in that in their own particular way, and that is okay. Everyone takes part, the Christians or non-Christians, they all have the Christmas trees in their houses, they all have the gifts read up, and every customs and traditions, whatever people may be following, they all love, the kids love to have the presents under the tree and ripping into the presents, and so those kind of customs and traditions is widespread, and it is good to see, and that's the way it should be, so that everyone celebrates everyone's things in their own manner. That is okay. Traditionally, and someone who are linked with that religion will do it in the religious way. Others would just have mark the celebration, enjoy the festivities, and that is all okay as well. But it is spreading that word, and if we can all do so for each and others, and all the other customs and traditions, and all the other festivals that are celebrated, it might not be in the actual true essence, but the spirit is there, and that's what our Prime Minister said. Well, right now, as he mentioned, that New South Wales and that in the Northern Beaches, they are doing their very best as well. Last but not least, let's hear from the Premier of New South Wales.
I start by wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and especially turning our thoughts to the thousands of people across Sydney and the Main who are in isolation, to make sure that all of us stay safe. And we especially think of you this Christmas and thank you for your efforts and appreciate what you're doing in order to keep all of us safe. Can I say again how overwhelmed we were that more than 69,800 people got tested in the last 24-hour period to 8 p.m. That's an outstanding result. Thank you to everybody who came forward and got tested. That's nearly 70,000 tests in one day. New South Wales recorded 7 new cases of community transmission. 6 of those are already people in isolation, which is positive. They're all linked to the Avalon cluster. And 1 case is someone who works in the Northern Beaches. So they're all related in some way to the cluster, but 6 out of the 7 are in households already in isolation. And that's a trend we'll continue to see over the next few days and possibly weeks. So as people are in isolation, their direct contacts will start to test positive, and that's where we'll see a large number of the case numbers eventuate, we hope. And we are still concerned with potential spread through the CBD, as a number of cases did present in the CBD, and we want to make sure people who've gone back to their suburbs have not passed that on then to others, which may have started new trains of transmission, but we hope that's not the case. To date, it's proving to be constrained, but we can't be too careful under these circumstances. So we do ask everybody to limit any activity in the CBD. And having said that, we know that tomorrow traditionally is a day for Boxing Day sales. We please want to discourage people. We know this is not the easiest message to give to those retailers, but we want to discourage people going to the CBD tomorrow. Please limit your activity. If you are going shopping in the CBD, make sure you wear a mask. We've already been in contact with retailers to make sure that there's social distancing in queues, that there's 4 square metre rule respected in the actual venues themselves, and all people, all staff and all people shopping should be wearing a mask inside those indoor venues. But today is a day where it is really about thanking the community, thanking everybody. I don't think anybody is having a normal Christmas today across New South Wales, and I just want to thank everybody for your patience, the way in which we've all pulled together, and the way in which I think all of us can be confident that everyone's playing their part to be as safe as possible. And before I hand over to Dr. Chant, I just want to thank her and her team. Christmas for them is very different, so they've been working around the clock and keeping all of us safe, and I really want to turn our mind and our attention to those frontline workers.
And of course, the frontline workers have always been applauded for what they do out there day in, day out. And ladies and gentlemen, for now, that's it from this segment. It's been wonderful, having your company. One of the things that the Premier mentioned there, Gladys Berejiklian, is that, all the shops need to maintain that 4 square meters one. It is easier said than done, with all the measures in place, people just go about the way they want to. And it's very, very hard. Of course, people do the check-in, they might have the mask, but, once they're in the crowd, it's very hard to keep people apart. They just keep... Of course, there are people who always try to do the right thing, but there are others who just keep covering that. But anyway, we all need to be careful. We need to be vigilant, and this is not the time to be relaxed and let the guards off. Message for everyone is have a wonderful day. Well, Boxing Day is today, so the traditional Boxing Day sales are on. Everyone's rushing off to the CBD or to the DFOs and whatever to get as much as they can in what is supposed to be a sale price. But be careful, when you're looking at the items that they are really marked down, or it's just a Boxing Day sale. But nevertheless, the main message out there is please, please, please all remain safe and take into account all those safety measures. So until the next segment, don't forget that 10:30 we'll be joining Samarpan meditation for the 4th day of the series that we have been running here every day from 10:30. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for joining with us. I hope you had a great time with your family if you could, or for the ones who could, and if not, everyone was connected virtually. Of course, we are only as far away as a phone call or as far as away as a Zoom meeting. Until the next program, it's goodbye from me.